Have you guys been able to see the rest of the sections on the course been unlocked yet? Good question.
Yeah, I
I
did
have.
see a few parts open up.
Okay, cool. All right, so what I'm gonna do, like always, is I'll start with a chart breakdown. Pretty much breaking down silver. Pretty much breaking down silver and gold. 'Cause that's what I'm gonna be focusing on. Really is what I want to focus on is just commodities, and then we'll get into Q&A, right? So really quick, have you guys been able to find the other webinars posted on the course already?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I did see them.
All right, cool. All right. So when it comes down to, let's start with silver. So when it comes down to silver, currently what I'm looking for is for price to come back down into this daily level. So a quick recap of last week, something that we spoke about was price was actually making lower highs at this point in time while maintaining this low here, which is also a descending wedge pattern, which typically shows us that price is going to trade lower. Once price actually broke under support with this momentum here, you can kind of almost expect price to head to the next level of support. So how I like to trade and set up my trades is all kind of just marking off the different zones that there are within the market and trading in between those zones, looking for the next area where we could potentially buy and or sell. So once price actually came down into this daily level, which we've been looking at for quite some time already, price actually rejected this level and started trading higher. The thing is, if you go to the daily time frame, there's not really too much information in terms of like a really strong rejection. This would, I would say, would be a normal rejection. What I still do see though is price actually coming back into this area where we could potentially look for a retest. And depending if this level of support holds, that's when I'll look to buy. If this level of support obviously breaks and we have a nice candle confirmation under, we'll look to take a sell. Probably down into this area over here. And if price breaks this support, we could potentially look for price to come down into this next level of support here. So really you have two options depending on, you know, how you like to trade. So I'm going to be looking for shorts. What I'm going to look for is for the confirmation that this level of support right here on this 30-minute time frame does break. If this level of support does break, then we could see price actually come back down into our daily level, setting us up with a pretty nice trading opportunity here. You can either trade this one of two ways: by taking the actual break of the support and trading it almost as a breakout, or waiting for price to actually pull back into support, waiting for support to form as resistance and then looking to take price short. It just depends on how you would trade this situation. I'm going to potentially wait for price to pull back into the area, give me some form of a lower high. But I want to see the hour time frame first close under this area. Well, then I'll look to take a short. Now with gold, so gold was a little bit, I don't want to say tricky over the last few days, but gold, once it rejected 1830, so there was talk on interest rates, and what I was reading up on with interest rates is that typically whenever gold, and you can backtest this, whenever there's talk on interest rates on gold, we normally see a short position. So price ended up finding resistance at 1830, where we've been talking about this level for quite some time as well. And we actually broke under this level of support. So I'm going to clear up my chart here as well. So again, I've sectioned off my chart into 4 different levels: 1830, 1813, and 1797, all levels in the daily time frame. And then we have this other support over here at 1786, where gold has found support on this 4-hour time frame twice. So I am going to be looking to take a short position from this area. I don't like the weakness within this candlestick. So I'm going to wait for price to actually pull back into 1797, where I'm going to be looking to take a short position if price does reject that area. Now, if price rejects 1797, then I'm going to look for price to actually come down into this 1786 range, where that's where I'll take my profit.
A las 8, creo. No, no, wait.
This guy. All right. Now, when it comes,
please.
not already muted him. All right, so when it comes down to gold, in terms of if gold were to come back down to 1787, 1786, if price were to break that area, all you simply have to look for is for the next major level of support and a resistance to be tested, which you can mark off gold being over here as the next level, probably somewhere down here. I'm gonna mark it off here. And then we have 1756. It's a long way to go. I want to see the rejection of 1797 first because there's a lot of weakness within this 4-hour candlestick. This is not a great buy. This is not a great sell signal here. So if we can get another rejection here and we get some form of like a double top on this 30-minute time frame, I'll take the short. Other than that, if gold actually breaks above, then obviously we're going to look for the next level of resistance to be tested here, which could potentially be 1813 being the more major level. So it's simple. If we maintain under 1797 resistance, I'll take a short all the way till 1786. If price then rejects 1786, we'll look for 1797. But right now, I want to see what price does at 1797. Very simple, trying to keep it as simple as possible. Does anybody have any questions on silver, or does anybody have any questions on gold and why I'm looking to actually take those positions? I think it was a pretty simple setup. It's kind of like rinsing and repeating every other setup, looking for breaks of resistance and targeting the next level of support or resistance. Simple, right?
That could be like the 3 legs, right? If it forms.
Here, yeah, on silver. So if we get another move to the downside, then yeah, it could be a 3-leg extension. That's definitely a possibility, especially with this engulfing here on this 4-hour time frame. Because remember, we also have resistance throughout this range over here too. So prices just closed under resistance and rejected it. So you could start looking for a sell signal. It's a little bit early though. It's like 9 p.m. But yeah, that would be like a 3-leg extension.
Excuse me, Ryu, would you be able to repeat your analysis on silver? I think I joined a bit late. I didn't get to hear, please.
Basically what I'm looking for is for silver to come back down into this daily level, simply because the way this market structure here is forming and we have price pull back into resistance. This daily time frame isn't a very strong rejection, so I'm going to be looking for silver to come back down into this daily support, right? I did take a buy from this area that was just closed out, but what I'm looking for now is for price to actually come back into this daily area because price has now rejected this level of resistance, and we have a nice sell signal here on this 4-hour time frame. So we could potentially see price trade lower. Now, what I want to wait for is for pretty much another candle confirmation to close back under this minor level of support. Looking for a break and retest like on a maybe 15-minute time frame of this area. It depends. As long as price maintains itself under this resistance, I'll look to continue the short position. Pretty simple, right?
Yeah, noted. And thanks.
Yeah.
Raul,
Right.
could you go over
Listen, I'm gonna eat the food,
gold
okay?
because I came a bit late?
Say it again.
Can you go over gold because I came a bit late?
Gold is almost the same concept as silver. So gold had actually broken under 1797, and we did initially reject here. We've also broken under this level of support. Price has also crossed over, or the moving average is not price. It's also crossed over red over blue. So the 50 SMA has crossed over the 21 blue SMA, typically indicating that there's going to be more bearish volume. And when price is trading under the SMA, especially the 50 SMA, that's just because price is starting to make more lower lows, lower highs, indicating that there's more bearish volume in the market. And then price has now come back up to our daily level of resistance being 1797. I'm going to be looking for price to actually start trading lower from this area. So I'm looking for price to come back down to 1786, 1797. Yes.
Okay.
Everybody understand that? Did you get your question? Last.
I have a question.
Let's go, bro.
Yo, Raul.
What's your question? What's up, bro?
So you said if price maintains on top of this daily level here, you'll be looking to buy though, right? Up into the next
On top
level
of this,
up.
on top of this level over here.
Yeah, if it maintains this, you'll continue. You'll look to buy.
So if it maintains under this area here, right, I'm gonna look to sell down to here. If it maintains above this area, then we could potentially look to buy back up into here. But as of right now, what I'm looking for is for price to maintain under here, where I could look to actually sell until this area down here. That's if price can again maintain under this area. If price breaks above this area, I'll wait for it to pull back into this area where I'll look for that retest, then probably look to take price along.
Hi,
You get it?
Raul. I have a
question.
Yeah,
Can you look at USD JPY and tell me what you think if it's going to continue bullish?
I mean, I don't really trade this pair, but I mean, just kind of looking at the daily time frame, we could see that overall right now, price is actually obviously in an uptrend where price is starting to break above its original highs and make new highs. So it is maintaining higher highs and higher low points. Let me take a bigger perspective look. So yeah, I mean, it's maintaining itself in a bullish structure. It's making higher highs and higher lows. I mean, you do have this key level here that it just broke above. So it could potentially continue to trade higher, probably to this point. But I would wait probably till New York session and see what price is doing. Probably if you can get some form of a double bottom where you have two rejections of this area, then I'll look to take a buy into this range up here. But as of right now, it's for me, it's a little too early to tell because it could go for a steeper pullback because it had been trending bullish since the 20th practically. But yeah, the trend is bullish. So
Okay, thank you.
yeah. Anybody else have anything they want me to go over? Anything they want me to cover? Any questions? Either on gold, silver, whatever pair. I'm currently not trading GJ, even though I do see GJ going up to 158, pretty much 158, 200. And GU is hitting this area, so I want to see what it does here before I make another decision. Anybody have any questions?
Raul,
Yeah.
what about GU?
Let me see. So GU is obviously currently breaking above this 4-hour level of resistance. The thing is, it's trading near this major area on the daily time frame. So I don't want to wait and see what it does there. I don't typically like buying around resistance. So I'd probably wait for some form of a pullback before looking to actually buy. Weekly time frame, strong closure above the 21 SMA. So we could see price continue to trade higher. I'm personally going to stay away from GU just because I want to see what it does at this area. So I don't really have a bias for now on GU like I do on gold or on GJ, but bullish volume is very strong right now on GU.
Raul,
What's up?
so if the weekly close above the 20 SMA, it's bullish side?
Yes, but it's still trading under this 50 SMA.
Okay.
To me, structure is more important and where, what area of structure you're trading at.
I mean, yeah, okay, thanks.
Where would you put your stop loss on silver? So it depends. I mean, so even if you look at silver, like on this weekly time frame, it's still rejecting this daily level, but you have this big bearish engulfing. So if we look at silver on the 4-hour time frame, there's a big rejection off of resistance. I would want to wait and see, because if silver starts trading back up here and it gives me another sell signal, like on this 30-minute time frame, and I get in maybe somewhere along this area, my stop loss will go probably above this wick here, potentially even up here, where I'll gain maybe 2.5 times my risk. Or if I want to be a little bit more open with my targets, I'll target these 30-minute lows, which you can see prices came down to the majority of the time, even though this is an overall zone, increasing my reward ratio. If I'm going to be looking for like a break and retest off of this minor level, then I would probably take a trade, maybe something like, pretty much something like this, how it's set up right now. Because then if price were to start trading higher than this break and retest, it's no longer valid. I would want to see how these next few 15-minute candlesticks form though, because I don't like taking trades this early in the trading day. What confirmation are you waiting to sell gold candle pattern? So with gold, what I'm pretty much waiting for is for price to pull back up into 1795, where I'll look for some form of a bearish engulfing. Then at that point in time, I'll look to take a short, maybe a bearish engulfing, bearish variation. just for price to give me another retest of resistance and then a rejection, and then I'll take the short. Because I don't like this weakness in this 4-hour candlestick. It didn't even close under the low, but look how big this wick is. So I want to see another retest and rejection before looking for a position. Because sometimes you see price actually have a big rejection like this to the downside, and it'll continue to trade higher for another retest of a different area. Yeah, I'd probably wait for that, maybe like on the hour time frame. So we'll look for something along the lines like this, where price comes up into resistance, and then you wait for like a big engulfing candlestick pattern. Can you go over GJ, possible swing trade opportunity on the 4-hour time frame? GJ 4-hour, yeah, I see GJ continuing up to 158. The thing is, I don't like how I kind of already missed out on buying at support. So support is down here and price is broken above this hourly support. So what you could wait for is for price to come back down into this hour structure. Look for price to form support here and then look to take price higher, maybe to the next hour level if you're going to take an intraday position. And if price breaks above this hour structure, then you can look for it to come up to this level up here, which is pretty far away. What is that? 100 pips away.
Raul, I had a question.
Yeah.
How do you decide when to exit? Do you use like certain candlestick patterns, or do you just find like when it reaches a resistance point and fails to break through it, then you sort of exit?
Well, typically I try my best to always exit at my target since I'm trading zone to zone. But if I start seeing signs of reversal, such as momentum slowing down and I'm in decent enough profit, meaning that I'm up at least 2 times whatever I'm risking, I could potentially exit, but I always try and stick to my targets as best as I possibly can. Or if one of my like trailing stops gets hit, then I'll exit that position. But I try and sit on my hands as best as possible until my target actually gets hit.
Sorry, you
Yeah.
can finish.
And you just use like structure to find your trailing stops?
In terms of trailing stop loss, I typically use them based off of like different levels of risk to reward, depending on what position that I'm in.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, like he said, I saw on your videos like using structure on 5 minutes or 15 minutes to trade a stop. That's right.
It depends on the actual trade that I'm taking. So like, let's say I'm going to be looking for like this break and retest here on this 30-minute time frame. What I'll do at times is notice how on this 5-minute structure, we're starting to see price do something. Let me actually grab this. Do something like this where it's made this kind of double top pattern. We've broken under and now it's pulled back and made this little lower high point, right? So if I'm in a position and let's say if I were to have taken an entry here, right? What I'll start doing is trailing my stop loss based off these 5-minute structure points. So if price is doing this on the 5-minute time frame, I'll move my stop here, then potentially I'll move it here. Just so I'm not giving enough profit back to the market if the market does start to pull back against me. But I know we can have steeper pullbacks, especially looking at the 5 minutes. So I tend to try and just move my stop loss based off of risk reward ratios when I'm expecting big trades. Like if I were to take a buy position along this area here and look to target this area up here and my stop loss is maybe somewhere down here where I'm getting 5 times my risk. Let's say I'm up when price is trading here and I'm up 2 times my risk. What I'll do is I'll move my stop loss to maybe break even just to give price enough room to fluctuate while constantly monitoring. So just in case if I'm not monitoring the position for any reason and price has a big move and hits my stop, at least I'm break even. Now, if price were to go up to like a 2.5, then I'll move my stop loss up to a 1 to 1.5, which would be like right here. And then I'll continue to trail my stop loss every time price goes up another reward ratio.
Okay. So it depends on the risk reward ratio on where the price
Yeah, like if I have a position where I'm up 2 times, or if I have a position where my target is only like a 2.5 risk to reward ratio, then once I'm up at 1 to 1, I'll move my stops to break even because I'm up what I risk. There's no point of having open risk at that point in time. And then I'll just wait to see if either price hits my stop loss or goes to my target. Obviously, there's gonna be times where I get stopped out at break even and then price goes to my target. I'm
Yeah.
still kind of testing out what works best for me right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so I noticed from my backtesting, like when I use like the 5-minute structure, sometimes like I usually get stopped out.
Yeah, of course,
And-
because there's so much extra volatility looking at the 5-minute time frame, the
Yeah.
30-minute time frame and the hour time frame. Market structure is gonna be more important than the 5-minute market structure.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
Yo, Raul,
Let's go, bro.
I've got a question. So basically, I realize that sometimes the price like reacts to the 200 MA, which I use on my charts, and like I was just wondering, like, to see your opinion on it. Would you consider it as a confirmation?
I mean, you could if that's what you have in your trading plan. I personally don't use the 200 MA, but I do use the 50 SMA. And when price does reject the 50 SMA, I do use it as added confluence. But it's not like something that's super important to me looking at an SMA rejection. Because if you look at like this 20 SMA here, look at how many times price bounces off this 20 SMA. And there's times where price breaks under and then it rejects the 50 SMA. So, I mean, it just depends on, you know, how you put that confirmation as importance to your trading plan. Everybody's going to be different. Some people might see that super important, looking for that SMA confirmation, and some people might see it as they really don't even have it in their trading plan. It's up to you as a trader how important SMA rejection is to you.
All right, thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Bro,
What's up, bro?
I got two questions.
Yeah.
First is on silver that you are right now.
Okay.
So I see this zone that you have. I think it's 22.7. I would say I have something just like yours, the up on 22.7. Yes.
Okay.
How do I determine when is the right time for me to wait price to come back and retest this zone? Or for example, you have now a zone drawn out there in the gray
This one.
box. Yeah. How do I determine if it's the best option for me to wait for this pullback, or I don't know, look for this type of zones? Because this is a internal market structure, right?
Yeah. So essentially, as of right now, if you look at this area, price has rejected this area multiple times in the past, where it's found support at this area. So now that price has found resistance at this area, I'm going to look for price to come back down to the nearest level of support, especially at this market structure right now currently is bearish. So in the case where, let's say, price were to actually start to break above this area, I would wait for price to come back into this zone where I'll look for support to be formed or support to actually hold. And then I'll look for price to come back into this area and see what price does here, right? So if price actually does come back into this area, right, we could see a rejection from that area. So you could look for a short at that point in time, and you want to trade zone to zone. Again, you're just waiting for different entry confirmations at different areas, but you want to go along with the trend. So right now, this current trend is bearish along with these moving averages being crossed over red over blue. So I'm going to maintain a short bias. So if price were to break above this area, then it could potentially reject this area. And that's the difficulty with pullback trading, because you don't know if price will reject and continue in the trend here, or if price will reject and continue in the trend up here for a steeper pullback. But the one thing about pullback trading that is a positive versus that negative that I just spoke about is the risk reward potential that you get out of it. It just depends though, because these are 4-hour levels. So if you're trading on the 4-hour level, then typically, you know, you're just going to wait for that. If you're going to be trading based off this hour level and you see price break here, then you could set yourself up being like, hey, you know, price broke above these highs, support is now formed. What was previous resistance is now holding a support. I'm going to enter here off this engulfing, and I'm going to target the next major level of resistance, which is up here, which would be more taking it from an intraday perspective. Just like kind of what happened over here, except price broke under this level here.
Okay, so basically just looking left for those zones on a 4-hour, and then just basically watching, right, what's gonna happen.
Yeah, basically, and then you could see price broke above here. It came back down, retested this area twice and went right up to the next level up here.
Okay. And the another question is on gold. I'm gonna open up here too. So if we go to the 4 hour, we see this double top. The first one is how could
About
have,
up here?
yeah, how we could have take a trade from this double top, and then we saw they worked out, right? They had this first leg, and then you see this 5 a.m. Candle. There's the big one with the big rejection.
This one?
Or
Or how you could have taken this first leg?
No, the leg from the double top.
Right here.
Yeah.
How you could have caught this.
Take this one, and then you see this this big wick candle right there on the
This
January
one.
6th. Yeah, I had basically a channel, right? And then one of the things that I use is the break and retest of the channel. How do I can let me see how I can ask this, because sometimes I just feel like waiting for the 4 hour to pull back.
Mhm.
But if I go to the 30 minutes, it's perfectly fine to take a trade there. On this bearish engulfing, right?
This
down
one?
here. Yeah. For me, I would say that that was a good setup.
Yeah, for sure.
And how do I don't get trapped on this, like waiting for the 4 hour to pull back and just continue with this leg.
So you're talking about how do you not get trapped on missing out on a move for waiting for the
Yeah.
4 hour?
Yeah, like if I was waiting for the 4 hour to pull back, I would have missed maybe this trade from the week
Mhm.
on the 4 hour week, and then maybe from the double top up there.
So when it comes down to the double top, I don't feel like everybody would have been able to catch this move just because it's probably a little bit trickier. I mean, it really depends on your skill level. But really it comes down to identifying that this is a 4 hour level of resistance right next to 1830 and taking in the overall concept when it comes down to supply and demand levels, support and resistance levels, you have your touch gap and overlap. So just because price didn't come into your zone right away or right to your horizontal line doesn't mean that price didn't reject that area, right? So this being your overall zone here, let me mark it off, right? You know that price could potentially, this is where you'd want to wait to go short. Once price actually came into the zone and you saw this big rejection here, you could have looked at two things, right? Here you have your highest high from that resistance, and then here you have your highest close from that level of resistance. Then you go down to like, let's leave it out of 30 minutes, because I like the 30-minute time frame. You could see that you have another zone here as well. Now, what you see here is market structure slowly starting to turn over, if that's how you want to call it. You see price going from making higher highs to then making a lower high and then price closing under. How everybody would trade this would be very differently. Some people would have taken the position off of this engulfing here after price rejected the zone, or some people would have entered right after this entry over here. Some people would have entered here differently. I personally don't think I would have been able to take this trade because I would have waited for a retest back into the zone, looking for that short position. It really depends, because if you're an aggressive trader, hold on.
Somebody got to mute their mic.
Yeah, I muted it. So it really depends, because if you would have been an aggressive trader, then you probably would have taken the entry maybe somewhere along this first rejection here. However you take that trade is ultimately up to the trader. Some people would have taken an entry off of this rejection. Some people would have waited for the break of this support level. Once price actually started to break this support level, they would have taken an entry there. Ultimately, that's up to you as a trader. I wouldn't have been able to take this because, knowing me, it's too far away from my resistance level to begin with for me to even want to take the position. So I wouldn't have been able to take this. I probably would have been able to take this if I was looking at the market at that time. Simply because if we go to the 4-hour time frame, we have a previous level of structure here where price is now closed under. You go to the 30-minute time frame, what you see is price actually try to break above, and then you have this big rejection of the upside. Then you have that engulfing candlestick time frame. Then everybody else, the way you would have set up your stop loss, your take profit, everyone's gonna do that very differently. I would have taken the trade right after that engulfing and then targeted this up here, probably put my stop loss in between, halfway in between this wick. Maybe something like this for my entries after that engulfing. My stop loss would have been maybe here. Then my take profit would have been somewhere down here. Verify that I get 2 times my risk. I do, and then I would have taken that position. Everybody's gonna trade it differently though. Again, ultimately, it's up to you to figure out what you're comfortable with, and you're gonna be able to catch more moves as time goes on and you start to gain more experience. But even then, you got to keep one thing in mind. You don't also shouldn't care too much if you missed out on a big move that you weren't able to identify. I wouldn't really be beating yourself up for that. Does that make sense?
Yes. So basically for the this 4-hour wick, the one down there, for me to not be waiting on the 4-hour retest, just like it's happening now, for me to catch the 30-minute trade, how I can, you know.
Are you talking about here or are you talking about up here?
On the trade that we just spoke about, the bearish engulfing. That
This
you
one?
said. Yeah. How could have catch this? Like it was near the session, I think. It was around 6 a.m. So just looking at 30 minutes and the zones basically, and waiting for something for the continuation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you don't always have to take a trade based off like a 4-hour candle confirmation, even though that's the strongest confirmation you're going to get. You could take a more aggressive position and wait for a 30-minute rejection from your 4-hour zone. Everybody's going to do it differently. The more conservative trader and the trader who trades higher time frames is going to wait for that 4-hour rejection. Somebody who's a little bit more aggressive like me will jump down to a lower time frame and wait for that lower time frame confirmation before taking that trade.
All right. Thanks. I think it's clear now.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
Anybody else have any questions? Anything they want me to cover?
Yeah, I got another one, bro. So basically, so I watched like the charts like most of the day, like because I just like be at home all the time, and I realized that it's not always the best thing to do because I make like more decisions during like when I'm watching it, but like it's kind of hard to stay off the charts when you have a trade going on. Like, how would you like? Do you have any suggestions like for that?
Well, if you have a trade going on, I mean,
just got 3-pointer.
if you got a trade going on, then regardless of the fact you want to be on top of your trade, you know what I mean? You don't want to be distracted, but if you're trading like a 30-minute time frame or an hour time frame, it's going to take time for your trades to play out. So you can check back on your trade every 15 minutes, every 20 minutes to see how it's doing. Now, you don't want to sit in front of your chart and be staring at every single tick moving, but you want to, again, it's all about balance and finding your balance. You know, everybody's going to have a different way of handling things. And that's what makes trading more difficult because everyone's going to do things differently.
Yeah. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, again, it's just, you just got to find balance.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't know what language he was talking, but anybody else have any other questions?
I got a question.
Let's go, bro.
What so I'm not confused, but you're more so, it seems like you're moving towards like swinging a little bit more, because I'm like,
how are you confused?
Looking at it, I'm like, okay, well, if you're taking these trades at these, you know, these daily, you know, support and resistance levels or supply and demand or weekly, it takes a little while for the trade to hit. So I'm wondering, like, are you actually taking profit at the intraday levels, or are you really waiting, you know, for that trade to really get to those, you know, supply level and the demand?
If you look at it this way, right, price over here was close to that daily area. right? You could have taken that intraday level and look how quick price hit these levels, right? So if you would have taken a buy maybe somewhere along this double bottom, right? This is just a random example. And you were to target the other daily level, the other 4-hour level, this only took 3 hours to play out. Sometimes it's going to take only 3 hours. Sometimes it'll take 12 hours. I'll hold throughout the 12 hours if I have to. Again, it depends, right? So let me go on silver, right? For me, when I had taken the buy position on silver, I had taken a buy position on this 30-minute time frame. Again, I'm trading at this daily level, and I had taken a buy along this area over here, and price took maybe at the highest point another 3 hours for it to go up to profit. I was targeting here. Now, does that mean that price is going to come all the way up to here? No, I'll have multiple take profit levels throughout the trade, but it all depends on, you know, what I'm trying to do. I could do both. I'm pretty well at holding trades for, I find myself holding trades for a maximum of like 12 hours, but it just depends on how far the trades play out. And if I have to hold my position for longer, I'll hold my position for as long as it takes for it to reach my target.
Okay. And one more question. So if you're in a trade, you know that you got a 3-to-1 risk to reward, ratio. Are you getting in? I know what you just told, dude, like you told him, you want to monitor your trades, but overall, if you're risking, say if you're like, okay, I know I'm risking $1,000, are you waiting until that hits your stop loss? Or because I remember you talking about paper cutting. So are we really waiting for it just to, hit that SL, or are we just like,
yeah. Because if you close your position too early, you're going to be paper cutting your account. And then what you're going to, I'm not speaking on behalf of everybody, but what a big mistake that I made early on when I first started trading was pretty much, let's say I'd identify, this is where I'm going to sell silver, right? And I take the position, and let's say I want to take a loss here at $1,000, right? What I used to do is I would stare at the chart tick through tick, and every time I'd be in drawdown, I'd be like, you know what, maybe I'm wrong, I'm going to close. And I see price go back in my favor, and then I'd re-enter, and then I'd be caught in a fluctuation where I'm continuously entering the same like $1,000 risk. So I'm entering the same stop loss. I'm taking, $100 here, $200 here, $100 here in losses. And by the time I look at it, I just lost $700, and price went in my favor, hit my take profit. Sure, I made the loss back plus a little bit more, but it was unnecessary to take all those losses, where I could have just waited for price to eventually either go to my take profit or hit my stop loss and taken one loss of $1,000 and taken or avoided all those unnecessary losses. So I always wait for my stop loss to get hit if the trade doesn't go against me, because again, when I'm thinking logically and I'm doing my analysis, I determine that this is an area that's going to invalidate the trade. And once the trade is invalid, I'm going to get out. Anywhere between, it's still valid.
I would just say get to that point of just being patient and being able to wait instead of, you just got tired of taking them paper cuts.
Yeah, bro, because it comes down to like, when looking back at it, it came down to like, you have to go through it so much, right? I don't even want to say that's terminology, right? But I was so tired of making the same mistake over and over again that I had to work on that discipline. And what I started doing little by little was pretty much entering the trade, setting my stop loss, and then coming back every hour. And that helped a lot when I wasn't staring the chart tick at tick, because then sometimes I'd either be in drawdown, like maybe like halfway to my stop loss, and then I'd come back the next hour and then I'd break even. Then I'd come back the next hour and I'm in profit. It's just really working on it overall and just trying to improve, knowing the mistake and avoiding the mistake.
Good luck, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
Can you look at UJ real quick? Just take a glance at it.
Okay.
What are your thoughts about that? What do you think is
So I had gone over this already, but pretty much what I identified on the daily time frame is price has been trending bullish for quite some time. Price is making higher highs. What you could see here is, like, when you go to the 4-hour time frame, what you could see is that you have this 4-hour level here where price is just broken above, and so far has actually rejected Let me delete this. So far has actually rejected. So you could see price go up, back up to its original 4-hour highs, right? So you could see price go high, start trading higher. It's broken above this minor level of structure here or the counter trend. But I personally would want to wait for price to come back down, retest,
Yeah.
and then I'll look to buy from there. Or if you're somebody who's trading like a little more of intraday, you could look for a short back down into support because this 30 minutes, or let's go to the hour time frame. This hour time frame structure is showing me that it made a high here, then it made a low here, then it made a lower high here, then it actually broke under this low, made a lower low. So this could be a lower high back into this area. That's why I personally would want to wait for price to come back down, double bottom, where I'll then look to buy with the daily time frame trend.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, but I couldn't see it earlier because I was having some trouble with my Zoom.
Yeah, that's what
Alright,
that's,
perfect.
I mean, I haven't traded usually in years, but that's how I would kind of set myself up as just a little like quick overview. That's like my first impression.
Yeah, I was definitely waiting for that retest of support to make sure it was gonna hold before I even got into a buy.
Yeah,
Perfect. Alright, thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
yeah.
Yo, Raul, I got a question for you.
Let's go, bro.
Hey, how do you feel about quarter three levels?
Quarter three levels?
Yeah, I know your friend Alex, he's big on them.
You mean quarter points?
Yeah, that's probably what I meant, yeah.
I don't know if Alex trades quarter points. I know he trades levels on the daily and the weekly. Like he trades, from my understanding and watching Alex trade at times, or having Alex explain to me why he takes certain positions, he's pretty much looking for breaks and retests on the daily and weekly levels, from my understanding, which those would be key levels, which we're theoretically doing the same thing, just in a smaller time frame. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, yeah, man, thank you.
All right, cool. What's up, bro?
Hi, what's up, bro? Can you go to the UJ again, please? Sorry, I know you don't trade this part.
No.
You said that you will wait to a retest, a double bottom again, no? So
Yeah.
in what time frame do you wait for this? In 1 hour, 4 hour?
The hour.
In an hour time frame.
Yeah.
And when you see the double bottom has formed, you go to the other time frame. I mean, 30 minutes.
No, so what I'll do basically is what I'm identifying now is that UJ clearly is in some form of a counter trending structure, right? What you could also see is that here you have previous 4-hour support. Price is now trading at this 4-hour support. So most likely we could see price potentially go down. I know overall in the daily time frame and just looking at this 4-hour time frame that there's a lot of bullish momentum. So we're in a bullish condition, right? Does that mean that price is going to go up right away? No. So what I'm going to do is essentially in this situation is wait for price to come back into this key level, because look at what price did the first time it came back into this key level. Look at how big of a rejection it had, and look how far price moved away from this area. So there was no big breakout at first, but all of a sudden price dropped 237 pips, which is a lot on UJ, right? So in this situation here, what I'm going to wait for is another retest and wait to see that there is buying pressure inside that zone. So what I'll do is go down to the hour or the 30-minute time frame, right? I'll wait for price to come into the zone. Once I see price into the zone, I'll wait for one of two things. Either a big rejection where, let's say this is a bearish candlestick, right? A big rejection that looks maybe something like this, that has a really long wick to the bottom. I could potentially buy right there if I want to take a more aggressive position. Or what I'll do is I'll wait for some form of a bullish engulfing where I could buy after the engulfing. Or what I'll do again is I'll wait for a different price action signal where I'll wait for price to give me some form of a bullish variation where I'll buy after that bullish variation. But first things first, what I want to do before even looking to take that buy position is waiting for that rejection to the downside, because typically what's going to happen is sellers are going to try and push price under that, and the buyers will bring it right back up, where then you'll see that big rejection. You don't see it here because maybe it's just this chart in specific, But I'll wait for a big rejection, which is my first sign that we could see price reverse. And that is my first sign as well, that there's buying pressure in that area. Then I'll just wait for the buy signal. Sometimes that'll happen. Sometimes it won't happen. Sometimes price might do something like this, where it'll pull back a little bit and then continue to trade higher. But in a situation like this, I would want to see another retest, simply because, again, price right now, if you look at this intraday time frame, you have the red over blue moving averages, along with this counter trend structure still being lower lows and lower highs. So I'd want to see another retest and then a rejection. That's how I would do it.
Okay.
Sometimes that's not going to happen. Sometimes you're going to miss out on the move. Sometimes it'll happen. And when that does happen, typically that's when I like to risk a little bit more. That's when I'll be a little bit riskier. Will it happen with this level? Who knows? Really, you have to accept the randomness within the market. But looking at it, it could potentially just go straight up from here just because of the level itself. Like if you were telling me it would have been a level maybe like this one, where price, you see multiple rejections, unlike this one where there's only one big rejection and price moved strongly in the opposite direction, where there's a big breakout. We could potentially see price go up from here just because there may be a lot of buying pressure in this area. That's how I would trade it. Everybody would trade it very differently.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you, friend.
Yeah.
Oh,
What's up, bro?
all right. Just a psychology kind of question or trading discipline question. Let's say you're at your daily limit for losses, and you're basically looking on what could be a high probability setup. Like you probably get like 4 or 5 confirmations. Do you still trade that trade, or do you stick to your discipline? Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah, just because if you're already at your daily limit, if you're telling me maybe like I'm 1% under my daily limit, I'll probably take the trade at that 1% risk. But if you're already at your daily limit, I wouldn't go past that, because now you're starting to form bad habits of breaking your rules or breaking your discipline. And I don't want that to be affected into any other parts of my trading.
Word. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else have any other questions? No? All right.
I got a quick question, bro.
Okay. What's up, bro?
In the process of doing over the trading plan like you asked, I will currently deciding the instruments to add. Would you recommend, like in the season stuff like US30 and NAS 100 as a beginner trader?
So are you asking that, would you recommend that as a beginner trader you trade NAS or US30? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately it's up to you, because at the end of the day, what makes a pair more risky is your decision making, and how many lots you want to trade on your current account size. I like to typically do is pretty much you look at the chart on the daily time frame, and if you're going to identify structure very easily, then I would look to trade that pair. But you could trade any pair really. Just I would try and just focus on that pair as being like your main pair. But yeah, you could trade NAS or US30.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Raul, have you found any broker yet?
I traded on them and I didn't like them, so I requested a withdrawal. So I'm going to look for another one. I had another broker hit me up last night, but they look very, very new. I don't know if I want to take that risk, so I'm trying to request more information.
Raul, I got a question. When you entry in a time frame on 1 hour, your stop loss will be a little bit bigger, no?
Of course.
How can you enter in a time frame that you can get a stop loss smaller? I mean, 15 pips, 20 pips, because most of my stop loss are bigger. I mean, 30 pips, 30 pips.
What's your target?
20. My target, I don't have a good risk reward ratio, because when I enter in a trade, and I see 1-to-1, I always, sorry, I always put in break even, and sometimes hit my target, and most of the time hit my break even.
So you're asking us how could you lower your stop loss?
Yeah.
Essentially. Instead of, well, if you're trading based off of intraday levels, essentially what you could do is do the same thing that I would do on the 4-hour time frame, where I wait for price to go to a 4-hour level and then potentially wait for like a 30-minute hourly signal. What you could do is, if you're trading intraday time frames, right? Really what's more important is not the size of the stop loss, but if the stop loss is in the right area. Because remember, we only want to place your stop loss in areas that are going to invalidate trades. So you can either do one of two things. If you want to lower your stop loss size, you look to take positions more aggressively, meaning you wait for more aggressive entry signals, or you take more aggressive entry signals, or you start trading on lower time frames where you're looking for more intraday levels, where essentially, let's just say you've identified, let me get rid of this. Let's say you've identified that this is a level of support. Notice how prices broken support. You look at like a 15-minute time frame, you have support here as well. Notice how prices rejected this resistance. I said support. Notice how we're trading in previous support where prices formed resistance twice. Let's say you have an entry candlestick there. You could take an entry here. You put your stop loss above this 15-minute high. Then you target your next 15-minute resistance being here. But then what you're doing there is you're pretty much scalping. Me personally, I don't really worry if my stop loss is big. What's more important is if I get a good risk reward ratio out of it. What pair do you normally trade?
I trade GU, only GU, because the others I don't like it, and gold is very, very high volatility.
Well, can you give me an example of a previous trade that you took?
Yeah, really, I lose it.
So,
You know, how can I say it? Because I can touch your screen. Here in the 1.3540, I got an level of resistance, right? So
Right
when
here.
in the 4-hour time frame, you see a week of huge rejection.
This one.
Yeah, I enter in that point. When I see in the hourly time frame a big reaction, I mean, it was engulfing. I think it was an engulfing, and I enter right there.
This one?
Yeah, creo que fue ahí. Sí.
So you made an entry here. What was your stop?
Yeah, my stop was a little bit above of the week of the next. Yeah, that's
Like
right.
right here? And what was
Yeah,
your target?
and my target was in 1.3460.
It's right here.
Yeah, was right there, because I see 2 days ago the price when come up, reject. I saw 3 rejection right there in that point of the resistance, and I put all a big lot.
Well, I mean, if this is still a pretty good risk reward ratio, you're getting more than 2 times your risk, you're getting almost 3 times your risk. In a situation like this, I don't know if I would have had my stop that high, though. I would have probably placed my stop kind of under the median. So,
Well, not to
thing is-
interject, but I just wanted to ask something in his trade right here.
Yeah.
Is that take profit valid? Wouldn't it be a little bit higher where that low was formed right above? Right now,
talking about right here,
go back to the 1 hour.
right here.
Yeah, right there. Wouldn't that be the appropriate take profit?
You could have set a take profit there, but you could have also had a take profit here off this 4 hour structure as well. The thing is, I would have been very cautious taking this buy because we have a big pullback here, then we have price make a higher high, then price came all the way back down. Yes, it closed back under resistance, but notice how it's still trading above this moving average, and it doesn't look like the moving averages are kind of turning over. And then if you go to the hour time frame, this is a pretty weak sell signal compared to like something that looks maybe like this one.
Yeah, in that you said, I entered the day before, but I lose too big. I don't know why. It's market structure, because in 1 hour, how can I say it? I see that the price make a bust, but in 4 hourly, it's just a pullback. And I forget about the correlation of the time frame, because in 4 hourly, the price is doing high, low, high, low. But in the hourly was a just simply pullback.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I don't see a problem here. Like if this was your trade setup, I don't see a problem with the stop loss, and I don't see a problem with the target.
I don't know. I
that's-
just feel that it was too big because I put, I don't know, 30, 35 pips, and I usually put 25, 20. I'd have a mistake there because I usually trade the 4 hourly zones because I like it, the structure, but I don't know.
Well, if you're trading 4 hour zones, you're gonna have bigger stop losses regardless.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, you're gonna have bigger stop losses regardless. So, I mean, if you want to trade where you have smaller stop losses, then you're gonna have to trade smaller timeframes.
Good job.
Yo, Raul,
Yeah,
when you have several take profits,
you were saying?
when you have several take profits, do you ever take out partials or do you just trail your stop loss?
The thing is, by taking partials out is you're kind of ruining the risk to reward on the trade, because you're not gonna get the full reward that you were seeking in the beginning of the trade. I've tested it out before, and I rather just trail my stop loss.
All right, bet.
Than taking partials. I mean, it's not bad if you trail partials, as if you're looking at like completely scale out of positions. Everyone would do it differently.
All right, bet. Thank you.
Do you automate you trail? Like, do you set it on MT4 to how many points, or do you drag it manually?
I drag it manually.
Okay, cool. Because that shit never works otherwise.
Yeah. Basically.
Raul, I have a question really fast.
Yeah.
For GBP and USD, because I was kind of trying to find a pair that I can just really, like, only one pair for now that I can just really get to really know. I noticed that GBP, it looks like it moves a lot more than USD JPY. Is there like a good pair that you would recommend to really start with to master? Or like, what's the difference between those two pairs? Why does GBP USD look way more like it has way more momentum and volume versus USD JPY? Or maybe I don't see it right.
Because you're trading two currencies that have more volume within those currencies. You're trading the GBP and you're trading the US dollar. But really, ultimately, it's up to you. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, you should just focus on this. All pairs move very differently. Some pairs move slower than others. Some pairs move faster than others. Like if you compare like GBP USD to gold, you're going to see that gold has crazier wicks. It has way bigger moves. The leverage is different on gold. Some brokers don't even offer you a true 1-to-100 leverage on gold. They'll offer you maybe a 1-to-12 leverage on gold. It just depends. I mean, at the end of the day, what you got to do is your due diligence to see what suits you and how you read that market structure first. Because more importantly to me, compared to the moves itself, is if you're able to read that market structure and how well you're able to read that market structure. Because the easier you can identify market structure on a pair, the easier that pair will be for you to trade versus looking at a random pair like USD Mexico, where it's consolidating a shit ton of the time and trying to trade that pair because it's just so volatile and has a lot of volume, I would just focus on the market structure portion of that pair. Like I said previously, some pairs move smaller, or not some pairs move smaller, some pairs move less than other pairs. What also comes down to it is your personality and how fast you're able to make decisions. If you're somebody who you like to take time with your trades, then you're typically going to be trading a higher time frame, and you're going to be trading maybe a slower pair. For somebody who can make really quick decisions, then you're probably trading a faster moving pair on a smaller time frame. I mean, it's
So
up
what's
to you
a
at
what's
the end of
a
the day.
what's like for like if I like to make decisions a little slower, what would be a good pair?
I mean, you could definitely look at GU, you could look at GJ, you could look at AUD USD, USD JPY. Yeah, those are my recommendations. I mean, AUD USD is definitely slower than GJ and GBP USD. But I like GJ and GBP USD because it's there's way bigger moves than USD JPY and GBP USD. Let me see if this will work. So like, let's measure how big this move was on UJ, right? So this was 230 pips. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go to GJ. On GJ, that same move would have been 540 pips. So you see the difference there?
Yeah.
Well, one pair moved 230 pips, the other pair moved 540 pips, even though it was the same size move.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. Got it.
Yeah. Any other questions? Chow, was good, my bro? I see you there.
That's good. You have a question for GJ?
Yeah.
But just going short. Look at the weekly time frame. The weekly closed below the previous one.
Yeah, right here.
Potential double top, and then the H4 we have the transition, the structure. We have
Yeah, I see what you mean.
the higher high to broke the higher low, made lower lows, potential
Yeah.
higher.
So in a situation like this, what I would probably wait for is, yeah, I see the double top on the weekly time frame, but momentum is still holding up. So I'd probably want to wait for some form of a sell signal, like a bearish engulfing, where then
The H4,
yeah, on the 4 hour time frame, where then is where you could look to actually short. So maybe look for price to come up to here.
Okay.
And it's also a brand new week, so it's gonna make the weekly highs and then it'll go down and
Yeah.
probably make that low.
I agree.
Cool. Any other questions?
Yo, Raul, I came in a little bit late.
It's good, bro.
I came in because like my job, but I just wanted to know like what you think about GU coming this week.
Honestly, I'm gonna stay away from GU. I mean, if you look at like this 4 hour time frame, there is this double top pattern, but the structure is still bullish. You look at the weekly time frame, it's still under that weekly structure. So, I mean, if this double top plays out, then we could look for price to actually come down to about 135,400, which then I'll wait and see what it does from there. Because this was that level that price has been kind of consolidating around for quite some time. But it comes down to like, okay, let's see what, I mean, there's even this structure here that it's rejecting. I'm staying away from GU because it's either going to do one of two things, right? Notice how it's trading at its previous high up here, where we have this major level of support, and it's still in a bearish structure on the weekly. So it could start going down from here. Now, if it were to break above support, probably like break above to like the break above this 1.36 60,000 level, then it could go up to like 1.37 thousand. So it just depends. If it breaks above the highs, it's going to keep going higher. If it breaks or not, if it doesn't break, if this double top plays out, then we're going to trade lower. And in terms of looking for like longer term sells, then I would want to see what happens with this previous structure level here on this 4 hour time frame.
For sure, bro. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hey, brother, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to say thank you, man, for your information. It's been great. I've had my best trading week last week after 6 months of trading. So I just want to say thank you.
That's awesome.
And thanks, man. I have a quick question about moving your stop loss once you're in a trade.
Okay.
I usually have my trades at 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 risk reward.
Okay.
But I find myself one of my weaknesses is that I trade out of a lot of fear sometimes, even though my risk is only 1%. And I tend to move my stop loss to break even. Sometimes I feel too soon.
Yeah.
Now, my question is, I typically wait until the trade is halfway or about 75% in my favor before I move my stop loss to break even. Do you recommend, or would rather just set your stop loss and leave it there and just leave the trade play out?
The thing is, like, again, it's really all about balance, because if you move your stops to break even, it's counterproductive. If you don't move stops to break even enough, what you could see is price almost hit your TP and then go right for your stop loss. I'm sure all of us have experienced that, right? So what I would do is simply just backtest it, see what works better for you. I think that's a great idea. Because let's say the trade is 50% in my favor, then I'll move my stops to break even, right? Or if the trade is up a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, I'll move my stops to break even. Because one rule that I'm trying to imply moving forward into the future is that I'm not going to allow the market to take back more than 50% of the profits. And that was because I almost was so close to a 6-figure day on gold, and I let the markets pull back on me more than 50%. And I ended up missing out on like a $50,000 plus profit because I was being greedy and I wasn't following a really strict trailing stop loss rule. So ever since then, I made that decision. I'm never going to let the markets take more than 50% of my profits. Now, how you do that is obviously up to you, because even though we may trade fairly similarly, we all have our differences and we all have very different personalities. So again, it really just comes down to testing out what works best for you. And that's the trial and error part of trading.
One question.
Thank you, man.
One question. How do you rebound when you take a major, like not major fallback or anything, but when you're up so much and then you like your psychology messes with you? How do you rebound from, having that problem?
I mean, I looked at it this way. I just gave back to the market over $40-some thousand, but I still closed out the day at a $50,000 profit. Then I looked at the risk reward. I still made like 3 times my risk. And then another thing that I looked at was it was still a green day and it was a good day. I just have to learn how to manage my trades better now that I'm moving into like another level of trade. So what I did was start taking a few steps back in terms of like position sizing and taking less riskier positions. Just to kind of try and reset my psychology at that point in time, because if I'm used to seeing fluctuations in my P&L being tens of thousands of dollars, right? I'm going to be super emotionless when I see, my P&L fluctuation only being a few $1,000s, right? Because it also comes down to like, if you're a trader and you're trading 6 figures and you're used to seeing like, let's say your average stop loss is $5,000, right? Versus you stepping it down and now seeing your average stop loss being $1,000, you're gonna be like, oh, it's only $1,000. Like that's relatively not significant to me, versus somebody who's trading on, a smaller account and their average stop loss is a few $100s, right? And it comes to how well you can manage your emotions. So, I mean, over time it gets easier, and over time you're going to learn about yourself and your personalities. But I've been able to find that bouncing back from things like that aren't so difficult to me anymore as it were like really early on. Like when I would take a $10,000 L, I was devastated. I was looking up on ways online, how bad does bankruptcy affect you? And nowadays, if I take a $10,000 L, it's just, I just lost 10 grand, right? I'm going to move on, next day, where am I going to go eat? You know what I mean? It's all about levels at the end of the day.
How do you know, Raul, that you're ready to trade with more money? Because I'm in a stage at the moment where I'm able to allocate $100,000 into my trading account, but I don't trust myself with that money yet. So my plan was, I started off with 10,000. My goal, just to let you know, is that every time I hit a 10% a month, I add another 10K into the account.
Yeah,
until I build up.
Yeah, I was about to say that. So what you could start doing is the thing is, I don't want to say set yourself daily goals. Because I don't believe in having daily goals or weekly goals or monthly goals as a trader. It's just trade. Whatever you make is whatever you make. Then you look at the average of your performance over the last 3 months, over the last 6 months, right? So I was going to say what you could do again, and this is something I've talked about previously, is keep your trading as an active investment where, hey, let's say you deposit 10 grand, everybody has different, levels of income, right? Allocate every single month a certain percentage of your income to your trading account and treating it as an active investment while you're trading on the account. So it's growing through your trading and it's growing from you consistently depositing into your trading account. So, I mean, I feel like that's a great idea that you just brought up. But yeah, every month, let's say you made a certain percentage on your account, maybe you deposit an extra 5 grand or an extra 10 grand until you eventually scale up to that 100,000. Because if you're trading 10 grand right now, you deposit 100,000, you're going to be completely thrown off, and you're most likely going to start losing money right away because you have to psychologically readjust yourself to the fluctuation, the P&L that you're going to see. Because again, 1% of 1,000 or 1% of 10,000 is only $100 versus on 100 grand, it's $1,000. So I would slowly scale into actually trading those 10 grand and start proving it to yourself.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate that.
Yeah, bro.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So what you say when you trade now, you do about 2 to 3 trades. That's what you can handle.
Yeah.
As far as for your psych, how did you do, or how many trades did you do when you first start?
Oh my gosh. I mean, when I first started, I was, I'd have like 3 different trades with like 4 or 5 positions on each trade open. And really I'd be taking like any trades I would possibly see. And it really, over the time that you're learning trading and over, the span of months, the span of years to come, you're going to learn quality control, and you're going to learn to really focus on really looking for those high probability setups that give you the highest probability of playing out in your favor, and looking for the most quality setups possible and starting to take less positions. Like really nowadays, once I enter a trade, I just like to focus on that one trade and not look to enter on another pair shortly after I've already entered one trade on that one pair, because I'm looking for the best possible setup. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, it's really just everything. I'm telling you, everything is going to come with experience and understanding yourself and understanding who you are in the charts. Anybody else have any other questions? Anything they want me to cover?
Yeah, all.
What's up, bro?
So what's your maximum withdrawal in one day?
My maximum withdrawal, like as I set a cap on myself?
Yeah, like if you lost that amount, like you're out, like out of trading for the day.
Oh, like pulling myself out of the market.
Yeah.
It's very situational. I have different accounts for different purposes. Like let's say on my main portfolio, typically, again, sometimes I'll risk maybe 3% on a position. But it's typically around 5 to 6% is when I pull myself out of the market. Because out of 5 to 6% loss, I'm losing like $15,000, $25,000. And at that point in time, if I lose 2 trades at $15,000 to $25,000, I'm down either like 30 or 50 grand. And at that point in time, it's like, shit, I just lost like what would have almost covered my mortgage in a year. And I need to pull myself out of the market, so I don't want to start revenge trading and potentially cause myself even a bigger loss.
Bro, like if like the psychology part, like it's so hard to come back. Like how do you come back after that loss? I mean,
it depends, because again, everybody is going to handle their losses very differently. Personally, if I take a $25,000 loss, at this point, it's kind of like, all right, well, I know where I fucked up. I need to come back to the market at a later date and try and go at it again. But when I took my first like $25,000 loss, it was like so painful because I was like, damn, $25,000. I started thinking about everything that $25,000 could have potentially done. It's like, then, I could have gotten this, or I could have gotten this, or like I could have paid this for the next few months. But then you just, it's all part of the game, because as you start to level up and you start to manage more capital, you're going to find it, and you're going to find how you deal with losses a little bit easier. Yes, but truly losing money sucks. No matter how much money you make, no matter, how small or how big your loss is, taking a loss sucks, and everybody's going to deal with that very differently. I just try and get my mind off the charts for the next few hours, analyze my mistakes, and not try and put myself through that pain of losing a shit ton of money again. Because, I take 4 $25,000 losses back to back, and it's like I just lost almost $100,000.
Yeah.
What's your trading schedule like?
I tried to trade London, but I have so many things that I'm working on right now. I'm up very late throughout the night, so I'm looking to continue to trade New York. So right now, I'll wait till about maybe 1 a.m. Sometimes I'll take positions a little bit earlier depending on the setup. But I typically like to start my pre-market analysis like around 12, then I'll start looking for entries around 1, 2 o'clock, then hold my positions throughout then. But there was recently when I bought the STO, I mean, it all changes, to be honest. Like the day I bought the STO, I had taken a position on GU and I had taken a position on silver. I had won my silver trade and I had lost my GU position. And I watched those trades throughout the entire night while I was working on my other projects that I have going on. So it's not like I just kind of enter a trade and just go immediately to sleep sometimes. It all depends.
Yeah.
But it all follows the same structure. Anybody else have any other questions?
Yeah.
What's up, bro?
So on gold per se, how long do you hold your gold positions personally?
It depends again.
All right, let's say a high probability setup on gold.
I
How
hold
long?
it to my target as best as I possibly can.
Okay.
I hold it to my target as best as I possibly can. Like, I'll explain to you a trade that I completely missed out on. Because again, I had already taken multiple positions. I was in on silver, I was in on GU, and I was hitting my risk limit, right? So I had entered a short, or not a short, I had entered a long on gold, I believe around this bullish engulfing, and then another short after this bullish engulfing. And I ended up closing out like around this area up here, practically break even, because I was already in on 2 other positions. And again, it was that hit to my trading psychology where I wasn't able to hold my position for as long as I needed to. But if I would have just waited, then, this trade would have taken 3 hours to play out to hit this initial target here. Or obviously, by this point in time, I would have gotten out. It just, again, it all depends. It's very situational. I try and hold my trades to my targets as best as possible. As much of a professional trader as I am, I'm still human. I, deal with my own things and I have my own emotions and I have my own psychological barriers in trading that I'm always trying to battle, just like everybody else,
Okay.
Yo, Raul, like, let's say for the most of your trades, would you say that you trade more off of like high time frame supply and demand zones? Or like when do you see most of your trades being like smaller time frame retest type trades? Or
I see most of my trades being based off of like the 4-hour levels and the daily levels, but then I'll trade them from like an intraday perspective. So I'll know what I'm going to be looking for in terms of like the daily and the 4-hour, and then I'll look to take that position on a smaller time frame,
like on a 15-minute or something like that.
Nah, more like on the 30-minute or the hour.
Oh, okay. But you never like you'll say, like, let's say you have like at least 4 confirmations on a 4-hour time frame. Like you won't just take it off just based on the 4-hour. Like you'll go down to 30-minute and then take it off there.
Yeah, I'll go down to the 30-minute and take it off from that 30-minute time frame. But sometimes I do have to like go down or wait for like that 4-hour confirmation. Like for example, like on GJ, if I'm going to be waiting to look to go short, I'm gonna wait for that 4-hour. Yeah, but like sometimes like you see like what Chow was talking about here, where we have a potential like head and shoulders. So if I see that price closes back under this level of resistance here, right, then what I'll do is I'll go down to a 30-minute. Let's say this candle were to close exactly how it is. and I go down to a 30-minute and I see this 30-minute candlestick pattern where I'm like, okay, where we have this 3-bar reversal pattern, we have the strong engulfing. Okay, I'm gonna look to take this trade. Now, where could we potentially see this trade play out to? Well, if we go back to the 4-hour time frame or the hour time frame, we have support being down here, and then we have the next level of support being over here. Okay, well, what's the risk to reward ratio potential on this trade? Well, if I were to take a short position at this point in time, right, and I set my stop loss being up here because I feel like if price actually breaks above this high, the trade is invalid, and I set my take profit to this first level of support on this 4-hour time frame, getting 3 times my risk. Okay, sounds good to me. I'm going to take this trade, and that's how I end up taking the position. And that's like a quick rundown of how my thought process actually plays out.
Yeah, you'll go from higher to you'll like you said, like top down basically.
Yeah, top down, and then just correlating everything together.
Yeah, for sure. Getting confirmations from all time frames.
Yeah, basically.
So, Raul, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So when you're on like the weekly time frame, and then you talk about mainly being like the daily and 4-hour is like your main things, your main time frames. Like, do you still mark up that supply and demand on your weekly time frames, or more so on the dailies? Like,
I mark them up more so on the dailies because the dailies are very similar to the weekly time frames, just like the 4-hour time frame is very similar to the daily time frame.
Okay. So when like you're
I
like
could probably
using
hop on,
so
like, in 15-20 minutes.
so like you use the lines, like the horizontal lines, or you like, are you putting supply and demand as boxes and your like supply and what's it called? Support and resistance as lines, and then your supply and demand as boxes? Like how are you market? Okay.
Yeah, like, I mean, again, it's very discretionary, and it's up to you as the trader to, as long as you can identify what's going on and you know what's going on, that's more important than what I'm doing and how I'm doing things. Like sometimes I'll put my more major levels in boxes because I'm like, okay, we're approaching this zone, right?
Okay.
But then sometimes I like to try and be like super accurate and be like, okay, you know, we're hitting this level, right? But like, if we look, I mean, at the end of the day, they're all zones.
Yeah.
But like what stood out to me on this level is this rejection, and then noticing how price always closed above or rejected this area here. And then what also stands out to me is this level right here, right? So I won't draw a zone there. I'll draw the actual line itself. So I know if we break this level, I'm going to look for this level to be hit.
Okay.
Yeah, what's more important to you is you know what's going on and you can identify what's going on.
Okay, got it.
Yo, Raul, one question. Were you ever like a mechanical trader at one point? Because I see from your style,
Yeah,
you're discretional.
yeah. I kind of did, how do I explain it? So when it came down to like systematic trading, I had my systematic patterns and I would trade those systematic patterns, right? But I would also have like times where I would trade based off of price. Does that make sense?
Wait, no, I don't get what you mean by like by a price.
Like, so I would have my systematic patterns, meaning that, all right, I'm looking for this pattern. I know exactly how I'm going to trade this pattern, right? And I'd follow that every single time. But then there would be times where I would be trading just solely price action levels, more discretionary.
So it's like kind of time, like different. You have like your own time, so you like have it different. Is that what you mean?
Repeat that.
Like you'd have like one time you'll be like systematic, and then one time you'll be like discretionary. Is that what you mean?
I mean, I would have my, yeah, pretty much. I would have my patterns that I trade them very systematically, right? Like the double tops, double bottoms, the hand shoulders, inverted hand shoulders. I knew exactly how I was going to trade those patterns, to break and retest, right? Then there would be other times where I traded very discretionary, where I have the fibs involved, and I have like moving averages and like things like that. And I'd have them labeled very differently in my journal as this is what worked. This is the pattern. If I didn't like how this pattern played out, or if I didn't like the results for this pattern, I'd eliminate it. And I found what always worked best for me in the long run was discretionary trading. So I removed trading the systematic system and I continued just trading, even though it did produce results, it didn't produce results like my discretionary trading produced results. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Can I ask a moving average question? Like what exactly are you looking for specifically, like aside from crosses, like rejections as well?
So yeah, basically what I'll look, not necessarily I'll look for the rejection, but it's again added confluence. So if I see the rejection there, it's hey, we also rejected the moving average. And typically the 21 SMA represents the 21 day, right? The intraday trend, right? The 50 SMA represents the 50-day trend, which is again like the.
So that's 21 days or like so say like you're on the daily time frame, that's 21 actual trading days is the moving average.
It's not always going to be the 21 actual trading days, but it moves with the candlesticks themselves. That's why I always like to focus on them on the daily time frame.
Okay. So when there's like the moving average cross and stuff like that, so you're just like, that's just like you said, an added confluence as to like the crossover is meaning that it's like if it's a red over blue, that's a sell, like that's a confluence.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Got you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Any other questions? Anything anybody wants me to cover real quick before I end the webinar?
What are you gonna do at like the summit? Did you get any more details on that? Like what that's?
Yeah, so they're gonna have some speakers from like the major companies like Oanda, TradingView. From my understanding, it's like a big meet and greet so far. And like all of the other things they added on, like that's just like the people who run it, basically. That's just from my understanding.
Okay.
Are you hyped to speak?
I don't even know if we're gonna be speaking, to be honest with you, because I know they're gonna have a podium where like the people from the major companies are gonna be speaking. I wasn't told anything that the traders are gonna be, the special guests are gonna be speaking there. I mean, we're gonna have like a booth and stuff, an FMS booth where everybody can come on and just kind of chop it up pretty much.
Yeah, I was looking at FMS and it says like how there's like two verifications, like you gotta trade 10 days minimum.
Yeah.
So like what if you win 10 days out of that month and then you don't even have to trade no more and then you do it again the next month, just 10 days?
Well, immediately you're gonna like, if you pass the stage 1 credentials after, like, let's say you hit 10 trading days and on the 10th day you happen to make the 10%, you're gonna be emailed right away your stage 2 credentials.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then you have 60 days to make 5% on your stage 2 credentials.
But when you become funded though, you have 30 days? Like,
No, you have an unlimited amount of time to make whatever profit.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question.
What's up, bro?
So I kind of got in late. Just wanted to hear your thoughts on gold for the rest of the week.
Well, for the rest of the week, it's a little too early to tell.
What's your overall thoughts on gold?
My overall thoughts on gold is that we're going to continue to go bearish. Now that we're starting to reject 1797, one thing that I stated before making an entry on gold, I actually wanted to see a retest of this area because I didn't like how this 4-hour candlestick formed, right? So if gold were to come down to here and break this area, then we're going to travel to 1773. But right now, really what I'd be looking for is for shorts back down into this 30-minute level of support. Let's put the hour. This hour level of support here is where I'd be looking at gold to go to as of right now. For me to take a position, I don't want to wait for that retest, and I want to wait for that confirmation for me to take that short position back down to 1787, where I'll then look to take that short. Same thing with silver. Now, what happens, what I'm gonna be looking out for here is for price to break 1787, which will then travel down to 1773. Because if you look at like market structure, and you can look at how gold's been forming over the last few days, is price has been steadily making higher highs and higher lows. And now we've broken structure, and now we're starting to form potential lower high, which could then be that three-leg extension into 1773.
So if you were to place a trade, let's say hypothetically right now you were supposed to put a sell, how would you set your stop loss for this sell? Like just right
Well,
now, if you were to take a sell, would you put it above your 1797 right there?
The thing
Your
is, like
stop loss.
the risk to reward ratio wouldn't even be that great. I would wait for a pullback. Like, let's say I were to look to take a position, I'd probably be on this 15-minute time frame. I'd probably be like, okay, here we have 15-minute support. Let's pull a fib. If price can pull back, let's say maybe 50 to 38.20%, where we then have all of this resistance around this area. Let me actually draw zogs. I think this one works better for me here. Right? That is, change this color. Right, where we then have this 50 to 38.20%. I'll probably wait for the pullback into this area, then look for a candle confirmation, check the 30-minute time frame, check the hour time frame, see if everything still looks good. If everything still looks good on the 30-minute and the hour, meaning I'm still seeing bears, I'm not seeing like a big bullish engulfing or anything. I'll take a short position, something maybe along this area here, where if I enter somewhere here, I'll set my stop loss above that 15-minute high. My targets will be down here, 3 times my risk. I probably set it up something like that.
Okay. And there's one more question. When you trade gold, do you trade gold New York session or London session personally?
As of, I mean, I've always traded gold London, but it moves a lot more during New York. There's more volume in it during New York.
Okay.
But I mean, if you like checking a sessions indicator, you could just see, right? There was a little move London and a huge move New York. Then there was another move London, pull back, and then a huge move again during New York. But like, look at these liquidity grabs during New York session, which is something that I've always also noticed. Again, a move London, a little move again, and then huge move New York. Then again, look at this consolidation all throughout London, huge move New York.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
In your phase 2, are you gonna like share like how you use RSI?
Well, that video is already up on the course, because the problem I have is that there's like a technical issue with those sections. I don't know why. So I have to delete those sections and then make them again. And I didn't save some of those videos. So I'm currently remaking those videos to get that up to you guys as soon as possible. But that video is already up on the course on how to use RSI. On the phase 2, it's mainly like a big drop in trading psychology content.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you, man.
I think TradingView, I think they changed the RSI, you know, the one that you show in the video. It's like it's an updated one. I don't know. It's like the settings are kind of weird.
It's probably just a different person. But did you change the settings?
It has
here?
like moving averages. What's up?
Did you change the settings here?
Yeah, he's right. Yeah, there's like a
like
setting with Bollinger Bands, and it's
Okay,
interesting.
then where is it? Something there. That's weird.
They updated it. Yes.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
I saw that the other day.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah,
like
who's yours? Who's
remove
your-
all of that, right? Like just remove all of that and just try to focus on just the highs and the
Well-
lows of 70 and 30 or whatever.
Indicators. Let's go to RSI. Did you guys use this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one.
So let's say you add it. So what you could do is go here, go to settings, chart. So the length, you're gonna make the length 7, source close, then style, RSI. Let's see what happens if we make, okay, no, that's the actual RSI. So we're gonna make that black, right? So remove the RSI main base, upper Bollinger Band, lower Bollinger Band, upper RSI band. We're gonna make this red. We're gonna make this a solid line. We're also gonna put 80. Then the RSI middle band, we're gonna remove that. RSI lower band, we're gonna put blue. And then we're gonna make this 20. RSI fill background, you don't need that. And then let's actually also make this a solid line. And then we have just about the same.
Cool. Can you go back so I can screenshot it real quick? Yeah, cool.
Then you can also make these. Can you? No, they don't let you. Oh no, yeah, they do. You can also make these a little like thicker.
The course, does it allow you to in the comment section? I know you can like type stuff. Can you add like pictures or no?
So where?
It'll let me like add pictures, because if so, I'll just go put this in the chat.
Oh, on the Discord, yeah.
No, not the Discord, the actual course. Like, you know, that you can
Oh
comment.
yeah, probably.
Like, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anybody else have any other questions?
Raul, what's your overview on Bitcoin this week?
Honestly, I don't really like keep track of BTC unless I'm moving like big money. So, I mean, if we look at it from like a technical standpoint, it's clearly very bearish on this daily time frame. So when you look at the weekly time frame, it's also still very bearish. It's rejected the highs at what, 60,000, almost 70,000. We're going down now, so we could see Bitcoin come back. Oh wow, this is like 30 grand. So these are the two major levels clearly here on BTC, 30,000 and let's say 60,000, 65,000.
Okay. And what would you say like makes BTC move like the most?
Supply and demand.
Supply and demand. Okay. And any big like news events that would cause BTC to move crazy?
I mean, Trump could go on his Twitter right now and say, you know, I'm gonna buy 100,000 Bitcoins and that shit's gonna skyrocket. Or he might go on his Twitter and say, oh, I think Bitcoin is garbage, and you'll see Bitcoin dump. You know, it just, again, it's all about the people's reactions is what will move the market.
Gotcha.
China.
Yeah,
Anything China does, it always affects Bitcoin for some reason.
Yeah.
Bro,
What's up?
can you go over GU real quick on the 4-hour time frame? It was on the, you see November 5, this lower low that he made, November 5, lower low. Yeah, this one right there.
Okay.
I was back testing here, and I found myself trading breakdown retest on the 4-hour.
Okay.
But when I go to the daily, I see that the daily closure of this area was a little bit higher. So the best thing is to wait for the 4-hour break and retest or daily break and retest, because from the
Oh, you're talking about you were looking to sell here, but then it closed up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to remember, like, it's not always gonna play out, right? So in a situation like this, there would have been no break and retest on the daily because the daily didn't close bearish engulfing. And then in a situation like this, where if you would have seen price actually break and retest here on this 4-hour, you would have taken a loss for sure, because the price ended up pulling back, going bullish, right? Notice the break of structure here, 4-hour time frame. You go to the 4-hour, you see high, higher low, higher high, right? Then you got to be like, okay, you know, did we change in trend? Let me consult with the daily. You go to the daily time frame. No, it just looks like a regular pullback. Why? Because if you look at price again, you have higher, lower high, lower low. Could this be a lower high, right? Then let's say you pull out a Fibonacci retracement tool from the previous high to the current low. You see price pull back 61.8%, and you see momentum slowing down. What do you also have here? Previous level of structure. Now what we're doing is building confluence. Then you go to a 4-hour time frame and see how things are playing out. So Now on the 4-hour time frame, initially what you see is big rejection, then a pullback. Then now price is still trading under that level. Then you have a bearish variation. This is, I don't know if this was news or liquidity grab. Now at that point in time, you could kind of just look to take a short or long, because you know the daily is still trending bearish. So you could wait for multiple things. Like let's say you're trading this hour time frame. You could have taken a trade based off of, let's say, the break of this level of support. You could have taken a trade looking for maybe a double top pattern. Everyone would have taken this trade very differently. Realistically though, if you would have taken a position, or let's say I would have taken a position here, right? Your stop loss would have to go above. Where's my long and short position? Your stop loss would have to go above previous structure, which is, or at least above resistance, which is about 20 pips away. So let's see if you would have targeted this level of support here, this intraday level, that would have been about a 1.5 risk reward ratio. The smarter target would have been daily support, which is this area over here, which would have been down here, which would have been about 3.26 times your risk. So that would have been the overall target. And then you could have potentially even taken another position after this hour close. Let's see what the 30-minute looks like. Right after that hour close, which is a big 30-minute engulfing as well. And would you look at this? We have 30 minutes resistance that are also rejected. So you could have taken another position here, potentially use the same stop loss and the same targets. You would have gained 2.3 out of that position also. And if you would have held based off a daily, then you know you have great patience.
So how do I can kind of like try to avoid this type of thing? Like the 4-hour, I see the break and retest, but the daily, you know, it's just
you can't. That's the thing, because we don't. And that's like the randomness in the market. You don't know what the market's going to do in the future, but we know what these patterns have shown us in the past. And that's where, again, it's the probability side comes to it. Just because you see it doesn't mean it's going to happen. And that's just one of those situations where it's unfortunate, but you know, it's just part of the process. And you come back into the market a later date, not essentially looking to make that money back, but looking for the next best trade, which should, and then in turn, make that money back plus more.
So in that case, it wouldn't be like a bad trade idea.
No, I wouldn't say so. Like if you would have taken this trade right here,
yeah,
right, a short, I would have been like, yeah, clear as day, break and retest. That's exactly what it looks like.
Okay, and so it basically just a loss that happened and then move on to the next one.
Basically.
And console the daily, still trending bearish, and you know, give the trade another chance.
Yeah, practically.
Okay, thanks, man.
For sure.
Raul, one question about fundamentals and stuff. How much do you focus on that?
I mean, I do focus on fundamentals, but I wouldn't say like they're my driving factor as to why I'm trading a certain currency pair. Especially that my trades, I'm not like in big swing trades or in big position trades that fundamentals are really going to affect my trade like that. I don't really focus on them too much.
Okay. But you just like once a day you go on and
of course,
like
yeah,
look at. Okay.
Yeah, Forex Factory, and if there's big news events, I try and avoid trading that day or that pair.
So what's your like main like trading like day in the life of Raul? Like when you wake up in the morning, like tell us real quick.
Typically when I wake up, my trading day is already over because I trade London session, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to know like a real day in the life, I wake up. Right. I mean, I don't know if all the details.
At what time do you wake up?
Yeah, what time is it?
Whatever time my body decides to wake me up, typically anywhere between 10 o'clock to like midday. Right.
Shit,
First thing I'll do. Yeah. and I used to sleep in a lot later, but for some reason, doesn't matter what time I'll go to sleep. I'll come home after a party, probably drunk. 5 in the morning, I go to sleep. I'm like, I'm sleeping 12 hours at least. I wake up, it's 10 o'clock. I'm like, why can't I go back to sleep? I wake up still drunk. Right?
You ever trade drunk, bro? Don't lie.
No,
don't lie.
Never.
Okay.
Never once. And right, first thing I do, I probably have to clean up after my little puppy. So clean up after, feed her, put her back in the cage, or put her back in her little crate. Go upstairs, check the charts. I'll check the charts
Okay.
again to see what the charts are doing during the New York session. And maybe if there's any positions that I could potentially take that are positions that could run through New York and then play out through London. If there's none, then I go back downstairs, make myself something to eat, or hop in one of the whips, go to Starbucks, come
Yo,
back.
you gotta brush your teeth, bro.
Check the
Gotta
charts
brush your-
again. I'm leaving the details out. I don't gotta say like, you know.
I was waiting for that one. I was like, brush my teeth.
No,
I
bro.
was like, damn.
That's obvious.
Just
That's obvious.
Listerine. He just Listerine, bro. Listerine
That-
and
That's I'm a Colgate person. But that's
Okay.
obvious. That's obvious. Like shower, brush teeth, deodorant. All that
Oh
shit,
shit. I was like, damn, he's skipping a few steps, bro.
right? You really want me to go over everything?
Nah. Sure.
No.
Yeah.
Chill.
Whatever. Back to the house, have lunch. I'll check anything I have to do from like 12 o'clock to like 5. I'm working on my other projects. I'm checking Discord. I'm checking my emails. I'll check the charts around 5 p.m. when the daily closes. I'll do my post-market analysis where I prepare for the next day. Typically, that's when I'm done checking the charts, unless like I got to do a breakdown or I got to record a YouTube video or do something along those lines. But that's what my typical like normal boring day looks like.
So,
really.
but like, if you don't trade one day, you still do like chart analysis and shit like that.
100%.
Okay.
100%. 100%.
So Raul, you usually sleep almost 5 hours a day.
Yeah, 6 hours, 5 hours, typically. There's times where I try and force myself to sleep more, but I get tired of sleeping. Like it hurts for me to continue to sleep. I don't know why. Before I was the complete opposite. You asked me a year ago, I'd be like, yeah, I'd go to sleep maybe like around 6 a.m., wake up at like 3 p.m. There was times where I used to live in my apartment where I think it was, I don't know if it was, I think it was daylight savings, right? So the sun was coming down super early, like at 6. I'll never forget it. I went to sleep, it was dark. I just finished trading London. I woke up, it was dark. I'm like, damn, I probably slept like an hour, right? I checked the time and it's like fucking 7 p.m. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't even get to see the sun. It was crazy. Yeah, but that's what my current schedule looks like. You guys will, my next YouTube video is like a full day in the life, right? Where you guys can kind of see like, you know, what I did on that day. I mean, that day it wasn't like a regular day in the life because I bought the STO, but like in terms of like my work and like how my day is structured, you guys could pretty much see a good gist of it, what it is there. Except that day I didn't wake up. I was working all night and watching my trade all night too at the same time.
So so you're gonna be up for a while now, like, right?
Yeah, like once this webinar is over, I'll probably be up to like 3, 4 in the morning.
Okay.
Maybe me going to sleep, I consider going to sleep early, like 1, 2 o'clock.
Okay.
That's pretty early. Yeah, because I still gotta check up on like my other businesses and stuff.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Yo, thank you for all your answers and shit. Like, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Really. Thank you so much.
I mean, your normal day is more interesting than ours, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just, no, I wouldn't say so because it's just kind of like I'm just addicted to like a bar graph, really, is what it is at the end of the day. If you think about it.
It's hard to be addicted to it and go to work your 9 to 5, bro. You're like trying to sneak in your
Facts.
phone, like.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's just hard.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, I gotta wake up at 9 o'clock, like not even 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock to get to work tomorrow. Not looking forward to that.
Raul, don't forget to have fun and basically take a vacation sometimes.
Well, I mean, funny you say that. I'm going on vacation on Tuesday. I mean, obviously I'm still taking the laptop just because I go on vacation doesn't mean I'm not working, but I'm gonna be outside of my normal area. But yeah, I feel like, I mean, everyone's gonna have a different like schedule. I mean, from full-time trading. I know Zach, I don't know if he's still on here. He's a full-time trader. He probably has a completely different schedule than I do.
My schedule is crazy as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's your schedule like?
Man, like when the trading week goes on, I normally like to take a nap. I just woke up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to, that was your phone, my phone. Yeah, I like to take a nap before London session for sure, because if I don't, I know I'll be like this, you know, up 15, 16 hours, and I just don't want to do that. So I have to take like a 2-hour nap. I wake up between, like Raul says, anywhere between 10 to 12, 10 to midday or anything like that. So it's pretty similar to his. I just don't have all the toys like he does on the way.
But how many hours do you trade for, like, typically?
You know, anywhere between like 12 a.m. Central till like 6 a.m. Central.
Okay.
And yeah, that's normally like London and in the beginning of pre-New York for sure. If I don't see anything like that, then I'm probably just going off to the gym, hit my gym workout before I go to sleep, and then I'm up by 2, 3 p.m. in a day.
And where are you at? You live here in Florida or?
Oh, Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth. I just moved out here last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Raul.
What's up, bro?
Are you ever gonna do a earn to learn?
Huh?
Yeah, I was about to ask you that same thing.
What?
Earn to learn?
Like a learn and earn?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think so, because I really want to focus on everybody that's within inside of the day trading institution, right? So I mean, I have a signal room, but it's all automated nowadays. It's all automated nowadays.
Yo, you trust in robots?
I do. I've seen some great track records with robots, but I've also seen some really shitty track record with robots.
So wait, what exactly do you mean by automated?
Automated as in I'm not the one who's calling the actual trades anymore, because I used to before. But it's just a whole different level of, it was a whole different like psychological boundary that I had to pursue and break, because like me trading by myself, I perform so much better just because I don't have that extra added pressure. Now when I have hundreds, potentially thousands of people looking at my same exact trades, it adds all that more pressure for me to perform. And then I have people who are upset that maybe there was a signal called on that day, and it's just a completely different thing. So I was like, you know,
For real.
yeah, it's really, it wasn't worth the extra added pressure. So I just worked on the last few months automating it as much as I possibly could.
So the signals that are sent out, are they the same trades that you take, or are they setups?
So I'm not currently done with it. I'm either gonna do one or two things. So I've been using an algorithm that makes about 25% a quarter. I'm either gonna have that calling the trades, or I'm actually working with a trader where he showed me a track record for the span of the last 8 months that he's in profit. And I might just have him call the actual trades themselves. I need to see what I do. I'm still coming to that decision.
Okay. Are you ever gonna do one-on-one sessions in the future?
Maybe. It really depends again, you know.
When's that merch coming out? I'm ready to fucking.
This year for sure. This year for sure.
Yeah, when that
100%.
FMS merch coming, fam.
This year for sure. 100%. I wanna do some form of merch this year.
You gotta get that shit drippy though, bro.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to just drop
hell
like,
yeah.
I don't want to just drop like merch with like the Day Trade Institution logo. No, like I want some dope ass shit. So I gotta work
Bro,
with
even
design and
even
all
if you
that.
got the like the stickers and shit, like let us get that shit so we can rep, bro.
No, for sure. Like
Cap, definitely a cap, fam.
We'll have it ready for the students who are coming to the meet and greet, the FX Summit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's in May.
Yeah.
That's in May. That's
Yeah.
in May. So little things that I plan on doing is I'm gonna start making like plaques. So whenever one of you guys has like a 10K day, I'm gonna ship out like a plaque for you guys so you guys can hang that in your office. Just little things like that. Those are all things like I'm implementing. That's probably gonna be like a phase 3 of the Day Trading Institution implement.
Hey, you gotta do the merch like
Yeah.
Cookies did it.
Like who?
cookies, the weed name brand cookies.
Nah. No
What did they do?
You never seen his merch?
Nah, I
Yeah,
haven't.
fire.
I want to
He
do.
got
I want to
nice
do.
clothing. He
Yeah,
got
I
a
want
nice
to do.
clothing line.
Yeah, bro. I want to do dope merch though. I don't want just like some average, like just a logo. You know what I mean? Like, I want to do dope merch. That's the thing.
Hey, when you have time, go on his Instagram cookies, and you will see the merch I'm telling you about.
For sure. I'll check it out.
FTP
Nah, I be
right here,
wearing
bro.
that wear
That's it.
cookies. Now, Raul, quick question.
Yeah.
Remember what we talked about earlier? By any chance, you know I should be getting my credentials or no?
Yeah. Guys, just remind me. Let me follow up with that.
Yo, I finally got mine, bro.
Bro, I know. I had pushed again so many times. You know what the problem was? Everything got delayed because the broker that we're working with is just cheeks, bro. I hate that broker.
Oh shit. Nah, bro, thank you. I know it wasn't your fault. I know it wasn't your fault. I was just reminding you because I know you're doing a lot of shit throughout the day.
Who,
so-
Nash?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh my God, that was
Bro.
when it kept like canceling all the trades and you
I
couldn't
know,
like
it's
close
so
anything.
annoying, bro.
That was a bitch.
I know. So what we're gonna start doing is offering different options for different brokers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because the spread on silver was crazy.
Bro, but that's like on almost every broker. The spread on silver is so ass. That's why, like, one thing.
What
I'm
is
looking
it?
at-
What is it?
Bro, it's huge. Like, let's say this is silver right now, right?
Yeah.
Your spread, if you make an entry right now, will be like this much. Literally, it's crazy. Like on vital markets, the spread on silver is practically like this. That's what it would feel like every time I'd make an entry. I'm like, yo, this broker is taxing, bro. Because you got to remember, brokers make just as much on spread as they do on commissions. So when it comes to gold and silver, they're going to charge more. So one thing I'm really looking for for another broker is good spreads on silver. I don't care about like GJ, GU. My spreads are looking for gold and silver. So I'm looking for like a true raw ECN spread. And I'm looking for a raw spread brokerage, because a lot of brokers will say like, oh yeah, we're raw ECNs, but they're genuinely not raw. They're still charging you something on the spreads to make money.
If you check up like AxiTrader, they are like regulated, but their spreads are actually pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, most brokers have to have good spreads nowadays for their ECN accounts if they want to compete. What I'm starting to see that's more popular is brokers that have like the thing about it is, if you're going to get like true raw spread, meaning like you have 0 pips to the entry on gold, right? You're going to get charged a big commission. Like what's pretty low is maybe like $7, $8 a lot. They'll charge you $11 a lot. But at the same time, you're really genuinely getting that raw spread. So it's up to you. There's many brokers that offer like raw spreads or something that's in the middle, where it's raw spreads, high commissions, or maybe normal spreads, normal commissions, or high spreads, low commissions. It just depends, For sure, for day trading and scalping, raw spreads, higher commissions is the play though. Hugo's Way, I used Hugo's Way a while ago. I stopped using them. They're all owned by the same company, and I know how that company moves with their brokerage, so I stay far away from them.
Can you like explain that in like maybe a phase that you have with around like the pips and stuff like section? Like could you explain that?
Day trading thing though. It's in the beginner section. The explanation.
Yeah.
Well, I mean like I mean like ECN and all that stuff, because I really don't really understand that. But like, what is the difference? Like,
that's actually a good idea. I never even thought about that.
Oh shit! Yo, let me get some like kickback on that, Raul. Let's go! I just gave you a new section to write about, bro.
Well, I'm waiting to actually find a genuine broker that's gonna offer like something that takes that I'm gonna take their offer, right? Once I do that, then I'm gonna show in that section how to deposit. What account types to choose, the pros of the account types, all of that.
Okay. Yeah, that would be helpful, because like I know there's different types of like accounts and stuff like that, but it's all confusing, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
And I'm not new to it, but it's still just kind of, there's a lot.
Yeah, for sure. KLT Forex, no, I don't trade on KLT Forex either. They're all the same people.
Hey guys, I just want to recommend Hot Forex for those who aren't in America and Americans. They really have a nice small spread on a zero spread account or something like that. I don't remember what the spread was on silver, but they were my favorite broker when I was trading my own money.
Are they regulated?
No. I don't believe so. But they sponsor PSG. So maybe that's a little goodwill there. I don't know.
Interesting.
Rahul, how are you gonna like trust unregulated brokers though with like such a high amount of capital?
I mean, the reality of the situation is like, how to explain this? Like in a position like myself, right, where I'm offering big capital to the brokerage, right? It's either going to be one or two things. I need to establish a relationship with the management team of the brokerage. Once I have that relationship, then I could trust the brokerage. That's why I'm still like talking to people, trying to work out deals. And if I'm bringing them clients, then they're going to treat me and my clients very well. And when you're trading high capital, typically you're doing bigger lot sizes, which typically you're getting charged more commission, which typically you're making the broker more money. So they want your business and they're not going to deter you by fucking with you or your account or your clients. Cause you say one thing to your public audience and, the broker could start doing very poorly, performing very poorly. So that doesn't worry me too much. Obviously I've experienced things in the broker that are negative. And I know what to look out for and what not to look out for when it comes down to brokerages.
Is that why you're trying to find a new one, or?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So why not go with a regulated broker per se?
Because regulated brokerages, they don't even allow you to trade commodities. And I want to focus, my problem is I want to focus only on commodities.
Okay.
So do you change like brokers every once in a while based on like different things that you see?
I do.
Okay.
I do. But now I just want to trade on a brokerage and just kind of chill there. Like moving the money is always a mission. And like the amounts I deposit into the brokerage, like they typically ask me for bank statements and things like that, just because they think I may be money laundering, and like it's a mission.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and one time I made a deposit into a brokerage, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to deposit this amount. So immediately I wanted to withdraw 25,000 and leave a good amount in there, and they did not allow me to withdraw because I did not place a trade. Typically, that is. Yeah, typically.
It's my money.
I know. Typically, I just left. I just left right away. That's not a good sign.
So like, I know how in your course you mentioned like A and B book or whatever. You don't know like what you are, right? Like
you're never gonna know what you are. Typically, if you're a losing trader, you're gonna be in the B book section. Again, there's nothing wrong with B book, as long as the broker is just not manipulating price.
Okay.
And I mean, even then, like being in B book, you're gonna have faster execution than you will on an A book. If your account's in A book. Yeah, because it's directly, you can think of almost everything as in-house. Like when you go to like, let's say you're gonna go to a car dealership, right? And you apply for financing, you're going to get approved right away by in-house financing. And that's how you're going to get the deal the fastest versus like applying and then waiting to get approved by all these other banks, right? Everything is going to be a lot faster in terms of like instant execution and everything else within the B-book section. Again, I'm not worried if a broker does B-book my account.
But you don't know, right? Like you don't know if you're A or B.
Yeah, you're never going to know. You're never going to know.
Okay.
Even if the brokerage claims, oh, we only A-book our clients, they're lying.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's again, as long as they're not manipulating price, then we're good.
And it has nothing to do with the amount of money you put in to your account, or it's just mainly just
Yeah.
how you trade, like.
It all depends on your performance.
Right,
And typically,
okay.
like brokerages have teams, risk analysts that will look at your performance and make that decision whether your account's going to be placed in an A book or a B book
Gotcha.
section. Yeah.
You think in future you'd be like revealing or introducing your own broker?
No, that's another, I had one previously, but owning a brokerage within inside of the United States is illegal. So I had left the business. So I don't think I'm going to be doing that anytime soon unless I renounce my citizenship. I don't think I'm going to be doing that.
Yo, DTI Miami meet?
For sure. For sure. This year, for sure.
You better let us know, man.
Yeah. I'm going to do an event for sure. Maybe once we get more people inside the course, 100%. I'm gonna host one at my warehouse.
Actually, how many are you gonna accept?
Yeah, how many people?
I have no idea, to be honest with you. My team tells me what they think we should accept, and then I tell them what's manageable or not. So I'd be lying to you guys if I give you guys a number, if I'm gonna be honest with you.
But we don't have to do anything, like we're good.
No, you guys are good.
All right, for sure.
Yeah, you guys are good.
That's the only thing I was worried about, because I saw like on your story you had posted that if you already gotten accepted to like reapply or some shit like that.
No, yeah, that's for people who are interested in joining again. You
All
guys
right,
are good. You guys don't have to do nothing.
I bet.
I bet.
Yeah, just make sure you keep showing up to the ongoing education.
Hell yeah.
So is there like, can you like post a schedule or like a calendar or something of, I know you have it in the, what's it called? What's the thing
Discord.
called? Discord, yeah,
Discord?
thank you. Yeah. So like, could you like just post a schedule of like when things are, like, I know Wednesdays is the peer review, right?
Yeah, every Wednesday is gonna be the peer review. Every Sunday is gonna be the
Sunday.
market prep webinar.
Okay.
And then I might do the other webinars Tuesday.
Okay.
and Potentially Thursday.
Okay. So pretty much every day of the week, like, except for like Saturday.
Yeah, except for Friday and
Monday.
Saturday. Except for
Okay.
Friday and Saturday, yeah.
Okay.
It also depends on the amount of questions. Like if I see,
Yeah.
like I'm not getting too many questions on any of the other webinars, then I probably won't do as many webinars.
Okay.
If I'm getting a bunch of questions, then I'll continue to do more and more webinars.
Okay.
You think you can do like EU time friendly?
I will try my best, but that's gonna be hard. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I recorded them and post them on the course, so whoever is in that time zone can still watch, even if they didn't attend. But I will try my best. So anybody else have any other questions? Anything they'd like me to go over before I end the webinar?
No, I appreciate you though. I'm gonna be out, brother.
Yeah, appreciate it,
Sure,
bro.
for
Thank you
sure.
for coming, Zach.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I will post this recording on the webinar or on the website, so you guys can always go back and see it. Anyways, thank you guys again for coming on to another webinar, and I'll see you guys at the next one. I don't know.
All right, bro. Thank you.
Thank you, Raul.